We're here at Marco Polo Davao, and I'm here with a very good friend and a very inspiring person. And I wanted to introduce you to him. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How do you want to be introduced?
I consider my title is the designer, right? And also the Chief Executive Officer of MEEP. MEEP meaning Modular Energy Efficient Portage. MEEP is primarily formed because we have the design for an electric jeepney or Meepney, modern jeepney. The background though is that MEEP is a transport or portage company, a portage, modular energy efficient portage. That's goods or people.
When did you start?
This is about 6 years ago. We started already on the design of the system, the design of the vehicle. It's modular. It's basically like a Lego. Look at it as a platform, or as a taxi, or as an airport shuttle, or as a baggage shuttle, for example. We've been asked about that already before.
So this is a whole transport system.
It's a transport system, electric.
But as a designer, I mean, were you always in the transport system, or?
Well, when I got back from the States in 2000, I was in mostly California for 18 years. I came back after 18 years. And when I left in '82, that was right after martial law was lifted and you could fly, you could leave. Right? And so I went off to study, then work. When I got back 18 years later, I said, wow, what happened here? I mean, just saw that our country in 18 years, especially Metro Manila, just changed so drastically. And it's like that story about the frog in the pond. Well, whatever frogs are in the pond, day to day they don't notice the difference. But it gets pretty hot. If you throw a frog into the pond when it's already really hot, it's going to jump out.
And you were a frog that went back into the
I just jumped in about it
after 18 years.
Wow, what happened here? And I saw the jeepneys and the taxis and the traffic and so I always liked cars. So it was one thing after the other that just happened.
So you said you like cars. So it's a passion.
It's a passion. I went to school for designing transportation, so transportation design. But I curiously ended up in product design or industrial design. And then when I came back to the Philippines, it was because of furniture. I actually got a chance to spend quite a bit of time in the furniture industry. That's where I learned that our country is sort of like the Milan of Asia, or was. Our country in the furnishing circle used to be called the Milan of Asia. You know how you say you connect the dots only looking backwards? Okay, that's Steve Jobs. You only can connect the dots by looking backwards, right? Oh, that's the link to this, to this, this. If I wasn't in the furnishings industry, I wouldn't know Milo. And Milo is the one who said, oh yeah, build the Green Falcon in my factory, in a furnishings factory. Going forward is what I call the breadcrumb trail, where if you're following I'm getting goosebumps, if you're following your passion, you're following what you believe is your purpose, there will be breadcrumbs or tasty things that have been deposited in front of you, either people or tasty things or something that he knows, the creator knows, will really get you hey, I like this, and you'll go from that to that to that to that, and then you connect the dots forward. I really would like to build what we have designed. Well, I realized that you have to have a company in order for people to understand what it is you do. You have to have an entity, right? I mean, you have an idea, yes, but that makes you just an artist. So if you have, or a designer, if you have a company, it means you're starting to get serious about what you want to do. Banatti is what we call the speedy subsidiary of MEEP. Because MEEP is about transport, jeepneys, and shuttles, and so forth and so on. But there's that other part of transport that is the more sexy, classy, and be iconic and all that, but there's the sexy part that, fortunately or unfortunately, people need that juicy something. You need that.
And Banatti is about
The Banatti is about that. And so, as Leo said, the Falcon, the green Falcon, is our business card. And here's this overlay of all these different breadcrumbs, right? Getting to know Leo, he's been very crucial in the utilization of bamboo, because the bamboo is a mandate of the government. Plant 1 million hectares by 2020. So let's say you started planting today. It'll be 3 years before you can see this bamboo has grown. You can chop it, you can process it, you can dry it, you can get, make it to book so it's anay-free, book free, right? And then you process it so you have strips. And I have to do 3 years worth of R&D and be ready so that when we chop it down and process it, it will go into the machine or the industry that the one product started. Why the Green Falcon? Because we have to look at it in terms of, can we even bother to try to compete with, let's say, China, who's a leader in bamboo? No. Oh, let's do engineered bamboo flooring. They're already doing it. Right? So you need to go into a blue ocean, something that hasn't been done before. Something that has high value, something has design, has a sense of design, has a sense of high quality, high value. What will that be? In our case, we say, oh, well, bicycle been done before, fishing rod's been done before. We go down the list. What about a motorcycle? We went specifically after a motorcycle niche, which is cafe racers, city bikes that have been a sort of a cult since 1960. So, okay, we will make a cafe racer using bamboo as with the body cladding in electric. So while you're having your coffee, you charge it. While you're working, you charge it. It's no big deal. We're not asking for it to go 400 miles an hour down Ayala Avenue, no. We're asking it to go exactly 60 because that's the speed limit. So it's actually been called, Falcons are raptors. They're called raptors, right? That's a bird, the raptor. So it's actually been called a disruptor because it's disruptive. It's excuse me. It's disruptive because the very thing that, oh, it only does 60. Well, you're calling it Banatti. That comes from the word banat, right? Fast, go. Yeah, well, nobody said it won't get there fast, for one. And number two, why will we make something go more than the speed limit when that's a speed limit? If you look at everything that has ever been made in transport, they all go over the speed limit. But that means they have to use more of everything in order to do that.
So what kind of market, I mean, in the whole transport industry, what niche or what market are you playing in? I mean, you said that...
That's someone who likes high design, someone who likes motorcycles, someone who likes cafe racers, someone who likes electric vehicles, someone who likes sustainability, someone who also understands furniture. An X percentage of population, how many people of 100 that like cafe racers will like this Falcon? Maybe 1 or 2. How many people would like it because it's green and sustainable and have the money for it? 1 or 2, right? So in all those different categories, there's enough people, I believe, that would want to buy a limited edition.
Are you looking at products, for example, that you could actually produce in a bigger scale?
Okay, yes. So what we can do, what we like to do, is very hard for people, especially in our environment. They'll say, oh, nice drawing. So, okay, with the limited finances I had, it's had, right? We built it. And now we have this business card to show, right? And what we also have from that is that if you were to scale the Falcon up, everything in it would be exactly what's inside the Meepney. So we would use bamboo in the Meepney. We would use laminates. We would use electric. We would use batteries. So we say, here's Falcon. Here's Meepney.
So the technology you're building inside Falcon is actually something that you can actually,
Leverage.
leverage
Yes.
for your next
Yeah,
product,
leverage,
Meepney.
right.
Let's talk about Meepney. I mean, we talked about it earlier. That you said it's a transport system, right? And it's meant to
Replace the jeepneys.
replace the jeepneys. So this is really mass scale. if you think
Mass.
about it.
Yeah, it's huge market.
And this is something that's not yet here. It hasn't been built
No,
yet.
because there's this, again, like we talk about the government, we're waiting for the government to do all this stuff, right? And everyone's submitting proposals for jeepney. Can't operate that way, right? Because if we can't think of it as a transit system, an organized, clean, efficient system everybody can use. Okay, basically we're talking about jeepney meets tram. That's the design. Jeepney meets tram. So when you get into this thing, it's about you getting into a miniature tram.
I mean, you can stand on
You can stand in it, right? You can sit down. It's nice inside. It's like you're in Hong Kong and you got it in a little rail car that happens to be on tires. Right?
and running on electricity.
And running on electricity. And that when you buy a set, let's say you have your little location and I have my little location, you have 3 to 5 of these and a charging station. They go around and around and around, stop, change the battery. This gets charged, go around, run around again, come back in, change passengers, change battery, go back around and around. Now if I have one, I have again my number, or 3 or 5, and a charging station, and hey, we can work together. Great, we've now doubled everybody's distance. Tripled.
Sounds like an Elon Musk.
It's a
You're-
plug and play kind of thing, basically.
And
You have to be connected to the grid because you can have either solar or wind or biomass or waste to energy, and there's lots of waste. Or in a plantation, you get your rice hull or bamboo charcoal.
what challenges right now are you facing, or have you faced, that are trying to solve and are will want to solve?
Well, I think that what we're waiting for more than anything else is the angel investor, and that is just pure faith, actually. Okay, it's pure faith that it'll come, and that's because I guess it's just a faith thing. We've offered the Falcon as a dedication to God and country, and I know that there's a promise that when you do things like that, you'll be blessed. Hopefully we have that angel investor and we'll build our first one. And like the Falcon, then when it's built, we can say, here, it's 6'6" inside and you can stand up. It's got an air-cooled system inside, so it's not air-conditioned, but it's cool. It's very simple, it's very robust, and we've created an iconic replacement to the jeepney that is systematized. Falcon is a prototype, so with all prototypes and with all builds, there's a curve of building, and then as you get to 100%, which as a prototype you will hardly ever get to, because there's so many things that you had to make decisions all along the way, to get to where you are. So, but we're at the point now where konti na lang, and we're okay. You want to ride it, and you want to put it on the news, or what's his name? Kim Achansa wants to talk about it in Matanglawin, which is great because it's a Falcon, right? But if we do sell the Falcon, there will only be 111, just kind of like the Aston Martin 177. Only one. And you can do it with different bamboo color, or you can do it with different color, or maybe we'll make it with a slightly bigger motor, I don't know, but that's it. Because we don't really, as much as it's a nice thing, we don't really need Falcons, we need jeepneys. We would do 111 of them, and they would be 1.11 million each, because that actually goes to helping to build the Meepney company. Well, I think maybe our difference is that we have a big picture in mind. And we're not really thinking about it in terms of making money, which is typically what everybody does. I want to make money.
And
No.
make money now.
It's baliktad. We want to do the right thing, and because of that, you make money.
Sounds like a social enterprise.
Yes, we want to do the right thing, and because of it, you make money. And you provide a service that nobody's been doing, and you try to provide the best service you possibly can, and the best product you can. So what we're thinking of is that if we are to create this, it's a social-cultural revolution, because we want to make a tram the size of a jeepney. I think you really have to hook yourself up to the right reason for why you do things. Because I've seen it time and time again for myself, where you go, I want to do this because it's going to make money. Oh, no. This doesn't work. It's hard for me sometimes to think about the Falcon, because like now, I have my guy working on it, right? And I know I direct him and stuff, and it's been fabulous because he's learned so much and done so much, and he's grown so much doing it, that now I know I just have to tell him, and he does it. He becomes an extension of not just me, but the spirit behind what needs to happen to it, in order for it to be all it needs to be. And you know you've done your job well, because whatever your eye does, that's what happens in your head. Like, oh, the Manila fame. And people walk by and go, wait, there's like, uy, Ducati. How did we get so used to that a nice motorcycle is a Ducati? Or a Ferrari, right? No, it's not. No. That's Pinoy. No. That's Pinoy. Banatti. Banat. Let's talk about Banat, right? Banat. See, Banatti. Gawa Pinoy yan. No. Oh, you have to do this back and forth. But finally, all of a sudden, there's this thing that goes on. It's like somebody took this glass and shattered it, right? Really, it was an amazing experience to see that happen in people's minds. I think it's everything about what we need to do with ourselves here. We need to surprise the shit out of ourselves. We need to have visions that scare us, that we'll never be able to do. Yun. Gawin natin yan, right? Because how many of the leaders in our country have that kind of provocative message where you're like, okay, forget the crab mentality. Anong kailangan gawin dito? And so that's why it's nice, because when that happens, it's achieved something further than itself. It's opened people's minds more, right? And it's disrupted the idea that we can't do this. Yes, we can.
One last question. We're here in Davao, and this will be shown in YouTube. Anything that you want to say specific to Davao or Mindanao, and specific to UP?
Oh yeah, okay. Davao especially, I find Davao very, very beautiful. It's beautiful. It's got order. It's got all the basis for growing into a forward, futuristic Filipino city. So it's my hope that you guys think about what you're going to do to influence this place over the next 30 years.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you for that. Thank you.
Welcome.